Hello and welcome to the DJ Force 10 In Conversation podcast, episode 182, the first show of 2021. Happy New Year to everyone out there. And today I bring you Johnny. He's the drummer from the band Beach Riot. They're a band coming out of the UK. And they've got a fantastic new single out called Blush, and they've got a new album out later this year, around June time, called Subatomic Party Cool. We talk about all that in the interview, so I'm not going to spoil anything else for you on that front, but please go check them out. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. I know I say this on a lot of episodes, but thank you to everyone that's been listening. I've actually done some math, and this is huge. My podcast has now surpassed 1 million streams and downloads, like, combined. It's utterly mind-blowing. Over the sort of period of time I've been doing this podcast, which is about, I want to say 6 years, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And last year alone, I worked out from the statistics that I've got access to, 368,636 people listened to my show. Over lockdown, I know we produced a lot of shows last year, but it's just mind-blowing that people are listening at that scale, and I want to thank every single one of you. Even if this is your first podcast listen today for this show, welcome and thank you. Please subscribe, please like, please share, please rate, please review, all the usual things the influencers say. But I mean it. I want to, this year, it's kind of like, last year was like, I knuckled down and got my sort of interviewing, I guess, style or something refined. It's never fully refined because I'm always finding ways of changing. But I really, really want to push it this year because I feel like we're going to be at home a lot, and I want to have a more positive kind of like action with it as well. So please rate, review, all that kind of good stuff. I see all these stats now. I'm caring more about the numbers, and I just want to see that go up and up and up, which I'm sure I will with the people I've got in to speak to. I'm sure that will go up. We finished strong last year with Susie Quattro, and that really did take us over that 1 million mark. So thank you to everyone that downloaded that. That was absolutely greatly received. And the feedback was great from it as well, which I really appreciate. But I just want to keep pushing, keep going. We've got Beach Riot today. Like I say, they're a fantastic band. I've got a whole bunch of interviews I'm yet to record. I've got them penciled or penned in, actually. I've actually got dates to record them. And there's some sort of nice names in that, and some new names and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep mixing it up. I'm going to keep to that 1 week schedule as well. So every Friday, expect a new episode, unless I get a run of like solid interviews that sort of need to go out or anything like that, then I'll sort of increase the outlet. But I want to keep that regularity with it. So you've got like a set time, Friday, there's going to be a new episode of DJ Force 10 in Conversation. And we're going to keep going. And I want you guys on the road with me, and we're going to keep doing this. So thank you all. Keep sharing this with people and stuff. I really appreciate it. Some other projects I've got going at the moment. Total Rock have, I think I mentioned this on the last episode, but Total Rock have made me kind of like, or that I'm heading up their kind of live streaming side of things, and we kick things off on the 8th of January, and it was a live stream DJ event with Schism, which is the club that I DJ, and Total Rock in collaboration. We did a virtual nightclub over Twitch, and it went really well. So I want to thank everybody that was there for that. We're going to keep doing that every first Friday of the month as well. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye on my socials. Keep an eye on the Total Rock socials as well, and the Schism socials. Don't forget that. And we're going to continue to do that. So you can expect to see me live on Twitch. I'm also going to do some gaming streams as well. So if you want to hit me up, it's twitch.tv/DJ Force X. That's DJ FORCEX. And I'm going to be playing my Xbox on there. So I'm going to be playing things like Cyberpunk, FIFA, Rocket League. I've got the Game Pass, which we talk about in this, actually. I've got the Game Pass, so I've got a shit ton of games, and I've also got the Gears of War, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to mix it up. At the start, it's just going to be me playing, and then eventually I will grab the microphone and start warbling over it. If people want to get involved, like I say, go to my Twitch channel. give it a follow as well. Also, give Total Rock a follow as well, because we're going to start doing some live shows on there. Obviously, the live streams, like DJ Club stuff as well. But we're going to try and integrate more of the shows that go on Total Rock, some of the interviews, and maybe develop some type of show and stuff like that as well, which would be awesome. But without much further ado, I've warbled on, but I haven't done this for a month. So I bring you Johnny from the band Beach Riot. Enjoy. So I'd like to welcome Johnny. He's the drummer from the band Beach Riot. Welcome, Johnny.
Hey, man. Thanks very much.
No worries, man. How are you doing today?
Today has been pretty good for a Monday, so I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Same thing,
Sweet.
Monday. But, you know, as much as we can do in these days. But, you know, still working, so, you know, that's good.
That's it. Yeah, happy to have a job, roof over the head, food on the table.
Exactly.
Little things, isn't it?
Exactly that, now that we're in third lockdown or whatever it is now, so... Fun. Can't really avoid it, but yes, it's it is a talking point. But what we're here to do, we're here to talk about...
thing we've all got in common, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. But we're here to talk about your band today, Beach Riot. You got a new single out, came out just before Christmas, called Blush, and it is available now across all platforms. But what I want to do first, because to me you are a new band. I only recently heard of you guys through Lee at Wall of Sound, and I really dig it. I really dig that single. But what I'd like to do is get like your origin story, if possible. Sort of find out where you guys came from and stuff.
Yeah, totally. So we were all kind of the brainchild of Rory O'Connor, who is our 50% of the front face of Beach Riot.
Okay.
Him and Cammy, it's definitely a two-part thing, but Rory kind of, you know, I think what it all boils down to, I don't take all the credit, but we were in a pub in Brighton, and this is way before Beach Riot, and both of us were complaining about how much we didn't like the bands that we were in. And then a year later, he came out with a few amazing demos and was like, I want you to play drums for a recording. I want Jimmy on bass. And me and Jim knew each other from years back. So Rory was the guy, the driving force, but I secretly take credit for that conversation at the pub.
Nice. So you guys, you released a bunch of singles, then an EP in 2018. So how long had you been together before that had come out?
Not long, you know, it was probably only about a year at that point. And, you know, things kind of progressed really quickly. We found a really good common ground creatively, and, you know, we knocked out that EP, you know, pretty rapidly, all things considered.
Nice. So, I mean, end of last year, 2020, obviously it's not been great for musicians, but you guys still managed to release something. You got out your single, which we'll talk about now, Blush. Tell us about that song.
So a lot of it comes from a sort of, well, these days, a remote collaboration, really, isn't it? Everyone's got to figure out, you know, ways to get around the distance and, you know, the barriers between us creatively, and we can't just get into a room and hash it out anymore. Blush was probably one of the last ones that we did that with, though, because we wrote that ages ago, maybe about a year before. I can't remember the timeline. It's just been such a blur since March, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
No one can really have any reference points to anything that's happened since then. No. So, but I remember vaguely being in a rehearsal room and messing around with it. And it usually starts off with a riff or an idea from Jim. And then, you know, Rory will come and get on top of it. And those two are just like, you know, the Lennon and McCartney of the band, really. They sort of get their heads together and they flesh it out quite a bit before I get involved.
Yeah.
So really, yeah. And I think it's a lot of Rory on this one potentially as well. But, God, yeah. As a drummer, I'm sort of an accompanist, you know. I wait until they've got it into a good place, then give it a last little cuddle, and it's done, you know.
Give it a bit of a spike to it. So
yeah, that's it. And you know, Rory often makes like full demos and just sends them over with drums and everything. And I'm like, wow, okay, not much to do here, but I'll usually embellish it a little bit, or you know, just or I'll listen to it like 50 times and just really absorb it and then try and play around with it and mess around with it, you know. So
have you guys been able to get together like during the last year? Obviously you put this recording together, but was it, like you say, was it all remotely, or was it did you manage to sort of like collaborate in a rehearsal space or even over Zoom or anything like that at all?
Not really, no. I mean, the Zoom rehearsal thing sounds like a real nightmare to set up. It's got to be an issue with like lag and stuff like that. I can't imagine how people do it, really. You know, it'd be like play a riff and then I'll play it afterwards and maybe we'll figure it out and just listen. And it's more of a call and response thing rather than everyone jamming together. And that doesn't really sit right with me. I haven't even tried it because I know it wouldn't work for us because we like to just play songs as they are and figure it out as we're playing, you know? So really the whole process of bringing the creative process of the album has been just massive email chains with loads of ideas back and forth, people going away and playing around on GarageBand on their phone or on their laptops and just being like, oh, I've got this idea, I've got this. And it's changed the way we write songs. And I think in some ways for the better. It's just changed the sound of them just to a different vibe, really. Yeah,
totally. You know? I mean, because you're kind of making stuff on the move as well. Like, you're not sort of like, I mean, you could be sat in front of GarageBand or Logic or whatever you have on your phone. I used to use Music Memo back when, and I used to like hum stuff out and then beatbox.
Rory does that. Yeah, Rory does that all the time. Like he's got thousands of voice memos on his phone, and he'll just I can see his process is like so reductive. It's like he's probably got a million ideas that I've never heard before. You know, if they pass that barrier of his approval. So yeah, man, that's definitely a really valid approach. Throw it at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly, and it's quite convenient as well because you can get hit with inspiration anywhere. Yeah, and if you don't have anywhere to like pen it down or record it, then you lose it potentially. That's happened to me a few times. Before like the sort of advent of, or even the realization of a voice memo. I'll be walking somewhere and I'll be like, oh, it's a really good idea. Like a riff comes into your head or a beat or something. And you just like, you get home and you're like, fuck. And it's gone.
I suppose we're a bit liberated by technology these days. And, they've got back in the 60s, had to live in the studio in case inspiration struck at any point. But we're just like, just whack it on the phone and then we can send it to our mate within 30 seconds and get his feedback on it. It's like, what? It's crazy. So, madness. I suppose technology's allowed us to adjust to lockdown much quicker than we would have.
A lot of artists like yourselves have adapted very well to this situation. Like I was sort of covering this from the start, doing this podcast. And over the first lockdown, I was releasing like podcasts every day because I was speaking to people every day and learning more and more about everyone's process and how they're adapting from the very sort of infancy stage, to where we are now, where we're kind of like trying to make do. Until things sort of clear up again.
We're like in like a holding pattern at the moment, aren't we? And I think that can be a good place for creativity. It can be a good, like if we've got no other external distractions, we're stuck between four walls and all we've got to do is create. We don't have anyone else around us. So if you've got a way of doing that, at least we've got little home setups. We can all try and feed that in to the whole,
Totally. If you've got the means, then obviously, use it. And people are trying to learn stuff and they're learning that, because I mean, with certain, GarageBand is a free program with the Apple products. So, and
it's insane.
But I mean, these programs are, a lot of free programs for this. So, there are, like I say, a lot of people adapting and it's good. I mean, it's a different way of being creative. It can kind of like inspire you in different ways. Like, because you could have a set pattern of what you like to do. Some people like to lock themselves away, or some people like to go walk in the city, or involve themselves in the nightlife, and then whatever comes out then, or they use various other means, narcotics and stuff like that, to push the envelope. But
totally,
and this is just another way of doing it. It's another way of people realizing, oh, actually, maybe I've got some time to do this, or maybe I should approach this from a different angle.
Yeah, or maybe I need to do this to stay sane. It's like, this is my outlet. This is what I can do that isn't just sitting in front of a computer on Zoom to my colleagues, or stuck in my home office or that kind of thing. It has kept me sane. I've just been the whole process of writing and like listening to the demos and thinking, and I haven't had access to a drum kit. The only time I've touched the drums since March was in the studio.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to practice any of the parts. It's all been mental gymnastics, basically, of like kind of listening to the demos over and over again, thinking about what I'm going to play, what I'm going to write. So I was really scared when I got in the studio, because I was like, shit, have I forgotten to play how to do this? Am I going to be on this enough? And we only had a few days. So it was luckily the first couple of tracks in, it was all right.
Nice.
But yeah, pretty squeaky bum moment, definitely.
No, it's there. You've not set up your pots and pans in your home or anything, no?
No, I live in a tiny flat in Wimbledon, man. Like, got no space. My neighbours would kill me. So I'm not set up for it, unfortunately.
No worries. So, I mean, like you mentioned just a little bit there, you guys have got an album. Subatomic Party Cool. I love that name.
Yeah.
And
thanks, man.
It's out.
So you remember it?
Yeah, I do. I've got it written in front of me, but it's a good album. Right. But to be perfectly blunt and honest with you,
that's all right.
But it's out in June on Alcopop.
Yeah.
I love that label. They've been really well. I've managed to speak to the owner of on this podcast before, and he was great. Yep,
he's
Jack.
a ledge.
And they've been a home to a lot of like, you know, a definite sort of kickstart for a lot of bands, a lot of indie bands and stuff like that. But so tell us about the album if you can. I mean, what sort of like, I mean, did you get everything done prior to lockdown? Did you get that process bit done, or was there a lot of like stuff like during the sort of first lockdown that you couldn't do, and then when it opened up a bit, did you go back to it, or what was the process for you guys? Because obviously having an album ready now, a lot of bands delayed their albums last year to kind of release this year in the hope that gigging and stuff will be back again. But obviously we're not at that point at the moment.
No, not yet.
But what was the sort of like? How did you get all that together?
Well, I'll start with seeing as we're touching upon Alcopop, we're also really excited to be on that label, man. I mean, like, that's been a dream label for me for ages. Like, I remember when I first moved to Brighton, I saw an Alcopop logo on the Tiger Cub poster, and there was a band that I really admired back then. And I was like, maybe one day I'll get on that label. So it's an absolute dream. And I haven't met Jack yet. I couldn't make the signing session, but I'm really looking forward to eventually meeting the fella. And but no, we're really psyched to be on them, and we love them. Their ethos and everything about them fits with us so well. Nice. So for the album, we basically, I'm trying to think of the timeline, because we got our tour cancelled in the middle of the first lockdown. So we were on tour with our really good friends Gaffer Tape Sandy. Cool. And we were having a great time. You know, we were about a week and a half into a 2.5 week endeavor, and it started to gradually filter through the country. The word was flying around that Corona was getting really serious, and it was starting to be something that we should take notice of, and people were locking down, you know, they're staying at home. And then right in the middle of it, we had to call it because it was the right thing to do. And we all went home, and then about 7 or 8 of us caught COVID.
Oh wow!
Which sucks.
Wow.
I got it. I got a case of it. It wasn't serious, but we all, we must have been like, in this van just traveling from place to place, and we were, there's so many points of transmission it could have been. So unfortunately that was quite a heavy way to get the post-tour blues. You know what I mean? It was pretty rough. Yeah. But I think that fueled getting out of that and getting through the other side of it, and, all of us dealing with that and having the rug pulled up from underneath us. We had a really good meeting with our booking agent, Rob, and he was so inspirational. He was like, guys, you just have to keep the momentum going. You have to keep doing this and keep your socials fresh, keep your output going, because that's what's going to keep your momentum throughout this period, And we were like, and we, throughout the time, we've been talking about an album a little bit. We're back and forth in just, rumblings of when we would want to do it. But we just decided to be like, look, we've got loads of ideas, we've got demos, we've got the singles, flowing. So let's just start the process. And it was like a 6-month period where we were just, creativity was really hot, and we were all, stuck inside anyway. So we were just throwing ideas around, and just having that project to work towards really fueled us. So, that's kind of what happened there, and it was all completely remote, man. Like, it was all just because luckily Rory's always done this. He's always written demos himself, even right from the beginning when we had the freedom to get together. So it's a process that we're used to. So it didn't really impact us that badly, to be honest.
Okay.
That's cool. And then I got in the room, recorded the drums, and pretty much just me and Rory and our producer in the studio. And then since then we've just had. Those guys have been layering everything else on top, to get it all done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And I take it it's all finished now, or is there still some little bit to do before the release?
We have finished tracking a while ago, and now we're just working through it track by track, mixing it with Ali Jowett, who is our amazing producer. And he's just been brilliant. He's been doing it from home in his home studio. The guys have popped in occasionally to layer up the guitars and vocals and all that. But no, we're in a really good position with it now, where we're just sort of going through and polishing each one.
Nice.
And releasing them as singles. You've got like a lineup for a couple more singles before the album as well.
Cool. Well, yeah, I was going to ask what your sort of like run up to the album was going to be like, because obviously, having to sort of change tact, or if you will, because obviously there's no way of getting out and playing these songs live to people. But have you got any plans? Obviously, you said you were going to release some singles, but have you got anything like any kind of like online events or anything planned, or anything you can kind of like let us know about?
Yeah, well, obviously on the Blush release, we did the beer, which went down really well. And, seems to be like our fan base, beer drinkers. So that's good to know. So maybe some sort of like, I don't know, like kind of specialty item as well, something else that's going to set it aside. Some collector's item, because people just love collecting things these days,
Yeah.
It's not been completely confirmed at the moment, but you can rest assured that it won't be boring, and it will be something that is unique. Like, we try and just do something a little bit different. So that's the thing. We've got ideas, but nothing set in stone that I can reveal to you yet, unfortunately.
Okay. No worries. I was actually going to ask about that special beer as well. So, because I've seen a lot of bands kind of delve into that kind of IPA microbrewery type, special brew, if you will, not the drink special brew, but special brew. Unless it was special brew, just repackaged, I don't know. But that
would be pretty punk.
It would be pretty punk, but mix up with some Tenants and you get yourself a real
bit of white lightning.
Exactly. That's a proper cocktail, that is. But I was just curious what sort of guys got you into that, because I'm not a drinker myself. I'm totally like teetotal, but I've sort of seen a lot of bands do this, and I'm interested in the pro, because I'm much sort of like a food and drink person. So I love cooking, and I'm so interested in the sort of like drink side of things, because I've always been good at like mixing drinks. I can make a hell of a cocktail even though I don't drink alcohol.
Interesting.
So it's a weird thing for me, it baffles my wife. So it's just kind of like, how do you do this?
You can make like virgin cocktails though.
Well, I can, but apparently I make really good like alcoholic ones. But I put it down to my sort of like knowledge of tastes and stuff like that. So it's just sort of what would work together, and sort of looking up what the sort of like the spirit I'm putting into it, what sort of tones that gives off.
Nice.
And then just sort of, seeing if the mixture works, which it has done so far. But
it's like quality ingredients, isn't it? That's
exactly.
Like
But I was just curious, what was your link up with the beer? What was how did you guys sort of get involved in that?
Well, it was more of our manager, Elliot. He is, a lot of the time, he's the brainchild behind all of these like unique, interesting offerings that we've done. Like, that 8-bit or whatever you call it, 60 video games they did. That was like Flappy Bird, but on Instagram filter. That was his idea. And, he just loves doing these kind of viral marketing things that just like kind of get people a little bit like, it's not just a single of the band, it's something else as well that you can latch onto. So again, he found this, this I think it's called Blackberry Blush is the original name of it. I think he probably just searched for blush beer, or something like that online. I don't know what his process was, but it just was a good fit for the name of the single.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy, the bassist, he made the visual for the label. He drew that, because he does all of our artwork basically. He does all those cartoon kind of drawings that you see on all our singles and stuff. It's just all him. So so really, Elliot's to thank for that. He's the brainchild of all that stuff.
Oh, brilliant! No, I'm always curious, because I spoke to, not to name drop, but Randy from Lamb of God, which is a bit on the heavier side of music. But they linked up with Brewdog and made a non-alcoholic Ghost Walker beer or something as well. And there was another couple of bands that I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It's the only one I can really remember because it was non-alcoholic. But no, it's just I'm just really enticed by this sort of side of things, and it's something I'd love to sort of maybe get involved in at some point. But I was just curious how that came about for you guys. But that, obviously, with the namesake and everything, that kind of works definitely. And I'm assuming you sold out of that product as well. Yeah, cool.
We sold out of a couple of runs of it, actually. We were surprised at the response, although kind of surprised and not really. Yeah, we had to do a couple of runs pretty quick, because I think people were just like, oh, yeah, I'm onto that. But I think, I like your idea of doing it non-alcoholic, because that kind of it furthers the market, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, it does.
Everyone can drink that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what got me interested in that one, because I was just like, really? It was like low alcohol, or no alcohol. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because it's like a company that, I mean, Brewdog are huge. I think they do stuff with loads, but I think Deftones and stuff as well. I think they have something with them, but
nice.
It was just sort of like an interesting approach to it, like having that kind of like low or no alcohol approach to it for a sort of like heavy rock and roll band, if you will. It's a new mix on that front.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, going forward with this year. Do you guys have anything like, I know it's really shitty to ask, but like any kind of like touring or gigs or anything like provisionally booked that you're hoping to sort of like get on, or is it just sort of like we're leaving it for now, we're just going to concentrate on this and
luckily we've got the most, we're going through it with cautious optimism and some sort of like some hope at the moment, and we're very fortunate that our booking agent is one of the most proactive people on the planet. So at the moment we've got, how many dates? We've got about 15 dates booked from May to June for our album tour. So 31st to the 19th from May to June is currently looking very, very busy for us. So that's it. It's very optimistic,
Yeah, no, that's good.
But yeah, there's a whole album tour. Yeah.
Hello?
Sorry, mate.
That's all right. That? Yeah, no, it cut out on me. It's all right. No, I was just gonna say, like, having those dates booked and having something there to kind of look forward to. I mean, obviously, with what's going on, it's very difficult to kind of like confirm it. But have you guys like put tickets up for sale yet or anything like that? Or
so about tickets, like the events are mostly, a lot of them are like sort of free entry, but you can get advanced sort of places there.
Okay.
Which is kind of nicer to get people involved with at the moment. I don't want to take money off people for something that might get pushed on months and months potentially.
Yeah.
We're hoping not, but no, there are. I think most of them have got ticket links up online. It's all on the Facebook event thing, so I think we've got a lot of them listed, and they've got links to the various places you can get the tickets from on there. We're just really hoping that things are approaching normality by then, enough that we can go out and do it responsibly and not endanger people. We're quite aware of that.
Yeah
No,
that's cool. That's cool. And some of them, if they're free entry as well, that's really good, because it is, I've got tickets for various shows that have been pushed back indefinitely to this year, and even now I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. So and those are like they're just ones that I think are just going to keep getting pushed back until they actually happen. But no, I mean, I'm hoping that by that point, especially around that sort of like May, June time, then we'll have vaccination ahoy, if you will. And a lot of people will have it, or we would be okay to, or at least things will open up for us, because I as much as I love being at home, I need to go out. I need to sort of,
I thought I was quite a sort of like stay-at-home guy as well before all of this, and it's made me realise that I'm probably not as bad as I thought I was, and that I do really need social interaction and need people and events and things to look forward to. I think everyone does. Really.
Yeah. No, I mean, I DJ, or I did DJ on a monthly basis, and that was kind of like my going out night. And I really missed that, because it was like going out, seeing a few friends, playing a bunch of music to people, making them dance, all that kind of stuff, and then that got taken away. And it must be the same for you guys with like going to play shows and stuff. But it's just like that was my sort of social outlet apart from work. But
big time for me too. The band stuff was that release, and it was that obviously made social bookings with like mates and stuff to do bits here and there, but the consistent thing and the outlet was always the gigging and the rehearsing and writing with mates, and it's like another family to let off steam with, and Man, I really miss it. I really do.
It'll be back soon. It'll be back soon.
It will. It will.
But I've got a couple of questions left for you, Johnny. And then I'll let you get on with the rest of your evening. But what I want to find out are your 3 albums that changed your life. So what I'm looking for here is the one that made you want to play the drums. You know, you heard it, you go, oh, I want to do that. Or the one that made you want to be in a band, or, you know, or even something like brand new that's just come out and it's just like blown your mind.
Wicked. All right, I'll start with the one that made me want to play the drums was probably the first Block Party album, because it was like, you know, I was an early noughties teen at the time, and Matt Tong, I think his name was an absolute monster, and he really got me, you know, going for that. That was unbelievably good drums, and I still listen back to it now and I'm like, whoa, man, I still couldn't play half of what he puts down. So
it's a solid album, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you know, I was less turned on by each album as it went on from there. But that first one was really just purely banging, the whole thing, man. So that's the one that got me into it, because there was that sort of time for me. I've been playing for a fair while, and the one that made me. What was the other one?
Well, no, it's just any albums that really kind of like influence the person or the drummer that you are, or the musician that you are today. Any of the ones that not like sort of, you know, I'm not looking for like best of Beatles. I'm looking for that album. No. It could be like an obscure album from somewhere. It's just, you know, just something that just sort of like that moment. It was that album that said you're going to play drums, or the album that said you're going to go on a touring band, you know, or like I said, something that just blew your mind.
The one that made me want to maybe want to search for a good songwriter to play drums for, if you like, was the Lars self-titled album.
Okay.
So that is a bit of a deep cut, because most people just know There She Goes.
Yeah.
And I'm a big sucker for pop music, man. Like, I love it. You know, guitar pop music is actually my guilty pleasure. I love the heavy stuff too, and that whole album's brilliant, man. Like, it's really rootsy, and it's like they were really, you know, like puritanical in their approach, and they were never happy with it, and there's a whole story behind it. If you look them up and look at Lee Mavers, the singer, and they're bloody great. It's just such a good album, and it's just a feel good summer album that I always listen to every now and again. I'll just put it on again and just you know, it never gets old. So that's definitely one of my faves.
Excellent choice.
And the last one, let me think of a more recent one that I can pull out of my my list. I'm looking at my Spotify now to see what I've been listening to. Try and find a good one. Tell you what, I really like Louis Cole, who is in a band called Noah. He's an American guy, and there is an album by Louis Cole called Time.
Yeah.
And he is basically like, he went to Berkeley School of Music, you know, like these prodigies come out of.
Yeah.
And he's like a beast of a jazz drummer. And but he also plays really funky as well. Like, he's super like on it. And he writes and he sings as well, and it's his own stuff. And it's just really nice, like electronic funk pop sort of stuff.
Nice.
Really nicely produced and mixed. It looks really clean.
Cool.
I've been into that.
Excellent. No, I'm gonna have a listen to that one. This is kind of the reason why I do this particular question, is to discover albums that I either haven't heard or not listened to for absolutely ages. I know of the Lars. I've, you know, like you say, they're known for There She Goes, and obviously Block Party. Like I said, that's a solid album, that first one, and I agree with you as they've gone
for
on.
drums. Oh, yeah.
And I've not heard Louis Cole, so I am gonna check that one out on my streaming service. And then, go from there on that front. It's a nice little journey for me to kind of like, you know. But my final question for you, man.
Go for it, man.
What are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not, well, I know you haven't really been drumming, but what do you do to kind of like get away from it, or what is another passion of yours?
Mate, I'm a massive nerd. Like, if you think you're nerdy, wait until you hear what I get up to.
Go on, then.
So I obviously play a ton of I play a ton of video games, obviously.
Yep.
Just
Nothing wrong
like,
with
yeah. No, yeah. I do. I indulge quite heavily. My Steam account is probably embarrassingly massive, but yeah. So I play some video games. I've recently been getting into playing D&D online with some friends.
Yep.
Yeah, it's what I'm doing tonight after we finish this call.
Oh, nice.
And but we do like a thing where we pay for this guy to run the sessions. It's like a paid service, and he's a professionally trained voice actor. And there's been a session that's been running for 9 months, and I've been part of it for 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
And it's been awesome. It's like we do it every Monday night, and we get together and hang out, and it's escapism, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So it's been great, and it's been a good, like, stable kind of thing in the calendar every week, you know, to look forward to this social. So it's been cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I've been doing that, and just all the nerdy stuff that surrounds it, like painting the minis and buying the dice and following the rules and stuff like that. So
nice.
I'd say that's my outside stuff, really.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That aligns perfectly with me, because
really?
I love video games. I'm getting my family into D&D. Over the first lockdown, we did a small campaign.
No way! I found another nerd. That's amazing.
You found another one. I got the starter pack for the family because I've been doing bits and bobs for years, but I thought I'd get the kids into it and stuff, and they sort of gradually got into it and then adapted to their roles. And then became those characters, which was awesome to watch. But I also
I really almost want kids so I can start doing that.
Oh yeah, no, it's worth it for that. I also play Necromunda.
Oh my god, I played Warhammer 40k as well. I wasn't going to mention that because I wasn't sure how nerdy we want to go.
No,
I've got a Vansar. I've got a Vansar squad for Necromunda that I've been quite into.
Brilliant.
And I've got like a Tau 40k army as well.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, one of those Tau players.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I do the sort
of... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, yeah. No. I do the sort of like the small games or the mini games, like Blood Bowl and stuff as well, like occasionally.
Kill Team.
Kill Team, Age of Sigmar, stuff like that. But my main one is Necromunda. That's my sort of like main collection point. I have...
Wicked.
Pretty much everything they've released as plastic.
Wow.
That's awesome. Up till now, and then obviously whatever they're going to release this year. Depending on money at that point, because I used to have extra income, which I don't have anymore.
Of course. The expendable has gone down quite a bit.
Yeah, but lockdown's been pretty good. I've actually painted a lot of my minis. So that was the sort of big thing of it. So...
Nice one, man. You're working on that backlog, is what we say in my nerdy gaming group.
Yes.
You've got a backlog, and but I've been really bad with it recently. I haven't touched it. I used to paint, like really get into painting. Like I've got Instagram, Johnny40k. Check that out.
I will.
But it's JONNY 40k. And it's got all my business on there. But I've mainly just been gaming recently and been playing like lots of like colony sims. I play a RimWorld. It's a really, really good one.
Yeah.
And there's like a couple of other like sort of simulation games, like Frostpunk is awesome.
Nice.
Don't know if you've ever heard any of those. It's like real-time strategy games and stuff like that.
I'm aware of them. I haven't dabbled in those just yet. I've mainly a console player on that front. I've sort of like got on the train of Cyberpunk and stuff like that recently.
The train of disappointment. Is it all right though?
It's all right. It only broke on me twice out of the whole campaign, which isn't bad compared to some people. So I'm like quite fortunate on that, and there's still a few more endings I need to find out because I've done a couple of the endings, and there's like 8 of them apparently.
So apparently so.
I've just got to see where that goes, but it's been a pretty solid game. It's like playing basically I put it down to playing like a back in the days of like 486 and in Pentiums and whatnot, playing a game that was stupidly overpowered for that particular PC.
Your hardware.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it just runs sluggishly, or the graphics don't load straight away, or bits are missing, walls break, and you get to see whatever.
Yeah,
but that's what I put it down to, because I'm that old. I'm used to that. So I didn't have any sort of quibbles when it did break on me. I just restart the game. I did save it. I made a point of saving periodic events, so every sort of like 15-20 minutes, so I didn't lose too much when I when it did break.
Yeah.
But like I said, twice in the whole campaign, I'm doing side missions now, and it's not doing anything. So
is it on Xbox? Are you running it? Like Xbox One?
Yeah, Xbox One S. So not the new one, not the Series S, but the old, the previous one.
But like the pro version of the previous. That's good then, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not on like the core core one. So that's fine. But yeah, I've been playing that. And Assassin's Creed.
Nice, yeah, decent. I've got Game Pass, so I've been getting loads. I've been playing Doom Eternal on my Xbox One, which is sick.
Yes, that's
so much fun.
Yeah, the Game Pass is a damn fine thing indeed.
It's insane. It's like Netflix for video games, man.
Yeah, it has saved me so much money. So
right, especially I bet if you've got kids as well. I don't know how old they are, but I bet for kids it's really good because you get loads of nice little indie games that you can just get and play in. And
they're playing things like Fortnite. They're sort of like with that sort of like 11 to 13.
Like Minecraft and Fortnite.
Yeah, and Minecraft, Fortnite, Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret Neighbor, stuff like that. All those sort of like small games and stuff. But they're loving it. So and Cyberpunk is mine because it's a bit too adult for them. So.
That's quite brutal. Man, it's so good to chat to a fellow gamer. But no, I've just been playing all these. I have to get these really crappy old looking games because my iMac's from like 2012, and that's what I game on. So I just get all the crappy pixel art games and like trying to find the good ones. That's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Sounds like a good one.
Dude, yeah. Thanks very much.
Well, Johnny, mate, thank you very much for this. I really enjoyed our chat. I'm going to let you get off to your D&D evening.
Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. And good talking to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one, man. Bye-bye.
Cool. Cheers, dude. Bye.